Hello, been a long time since I did a chat about. Well, here's a quickie. Well, it might not be a quickie, it might be a longie. But about motorcycles and motorcycling, really. And I've had a long history of motorbikes and motorcycling, going back to when I was 15, really, when I first took an interest in motorbikes, because my mates were turning 16 and buying fizzies and AP50s. So I decided I wanted one. And I quickly bought a Suzuki AP50, which was a little 50cc moped. In them days, they had pedals on them, so you could pedal them as well if you run out of petrol. It was bloody hard work, I tell you. Um, and also, they weren't restricted at that stage, so you could do 50 miles an hour on them, supposedly. I can tell you, you could do more downhill with the wind behind you. You could get 70 out of the thing, screaming the knackers out of it. But you could. And then later on, they restricted them to 30 and took the pedals off and made them boring. But there you go. So then once I got rid of that, I upgraded, if you can call it that, to an older bike, which was a Suzuki A100. Basically the same engine, bored out, but it had an older tank and stuff on it. And that was a bit of a heap of crap. But hey, it got me around after I passed my test. Then I progressed to a Yamaha RD200. Everybody else had 250s. I wanted the 200 for some bizarre reason. And I bought one. And I got bored with it quite quick, so I decided I was going to turn it into a cafe racer and proceeded to hack up the seat and do all kinds of weird things to it. And I successfully converted it eventually into a pile of scrap. And it never ran again. There you go. Then I bought a Yamaha XS400. Everybody said they were shit, and they pretty much were. They were pretty dead. For a 400, they weren't great. But I did cafe racer mine. Put 2-into-1 pipes on it, drop bars, and it went better than a lot did, with a bit of tuning as well. The photo, incidentally, is Roach Rock in Cornwall, which is where I lived. And shortly after taking this photo, I thought I'd be a clever ass and I climbed up to the top of the rock, which was fairly easy. But I'm a crap climber and I'm scared of heights, so I couldn't get down. The fire brigade had to come and get me off the rock. What a wally. After that bike, I bought myself a Suzuki GS550 EN new from a place in St Austell. I can't remember the name of the motorcycle shop now, but in St Austell, down in the Gover Valley or somewhere like that, if I remember rightly. I remember it's called White's or something. White, I don't know. Anyway, Suzuki shop in St Austell in Cornwall, and that was fairly good. It was a bit boring, but it was okay. Then I decided to get rid of it for whatever bizarre reason, and I bought something even more boring, a Honda CX500 V-twin water cooled. I think it's because it was water cooled and I thought it'd be cool, but it wasn't. It was a big lump, but it got you around. It's why courier riders use them so much, because they're uber reliable. They're quite economical to ride, easy to ride, and back in its day, it was a great bike. They did make a 650 version after this, and even a turbo version, which is as rare as rocking horse shit now. Although I did see one a few weeks ago. Then I joined the army and stopped motorcycling for a number of years before buying, drum roll, guess what I went to buy after God knows how many years of not motorcycling and hating the CX500. Yeah, I bought a CX500 because it was cheap and available. Black one this time, but it was okay. It got me on the road. Then I stopped motorcycling again for a number of years, due to being in the army and travelling around really. And I came up to live in North Wales and left the army, and for some bizarre reason, I decided I wanted a motorbike. And I went looking at motorbikes, and I looked at lame, tame, sedate bikes and decided no, not for me. I went and bought a mental Honda Fireblade, which was horrifically quick. Beautiful bike, lovely colours on it, and wasn't too expensive. I had all the leathers and everything. Drove it like a lunatic, I don't mind admitting. But eventually I decided I'm going to kill myself on this thing. So it was time to upgrade or downgrade, whichever way you like to look at it, to I spotted a BMW K1200 GT, I think it was, in Colwyn Bay Motorcycles. It was a very good nick, and I bought that. I think, if I remember rightly, a lot of people nicknamed them the Flying Brick, and it was a bit of a brick, but it got me around. It was very, very good. I then decided it was time for an upgrade, and because I didn't like it. It was a bit bland, the BMW, and the riding position for me was a bit uncomfortable. So I went test driving a couple of motorcycles from what was then Woods Motorcycles in Colwyn Bay. Sorry, not in Colwyn Bay, we're talking about in Abergele even. Anyway, I test drove a Tiger, the 900 version with the tank that looked like it was pregnant, which I quite liked actually. Apart from the look of it, it actually was a really nice drive. I also took out a Rocket 3 because I thought, well, let's go from one extreme to another. And actually, I loved the Rocket 3 and found one for sale in a motorcycle shop in Chester, Bill Smith's. That was an ex-demo model, had a good discount on it, was brand new, and I at the time could afford it. So I bought the thing and really enjoyed the Rocket 3. Then there's a huge gap again of motorcycling. Basically, I got scared out of my life on the bike. I had a blowout of the back tyre at 70 miles an hour, of course, and it scared the living daylights out of me. So I stopped biking. What sparked me off again onto wanting a motorbike was not only seeing bikes around and about, but this was perhaps 10 years after the Rocket 3 incident. Is model making. I started getting into model making, joined a group for veterans called Models for Heroes, which are very good, and started making models. So I bought myself a CB750 model kit. Sorry about the numpty walking in. Anyway, bought myself a CB750 model kit and built it with a tart in the background and all kinds. And since then, I've built a few bike kits. I then bought myself a Suzuki GSX 750F, which is quite passionately known by a lot of people as Teapot, I think it's nicknamed. And it's something to do with the back end of it, but I think it looks fine. Anyway, kept that for about 6 months and decided it was time to upgrade again. And in my normal fashion, I decided I'm not going to go half and buy a little, 1200 or something, reasonable. So I went and bought a Honda Goldwing. I spotted this one for sale on eBay, or was it Facebook? I can't remember now. But it was all the way down in Lulworth Ranges, the guy that had it, near Poole in Dorset. And thanks to a very good friend of mine, Mark Armitage from the vet shed in Bethesda, who took me down, I went down and bought the thing. And it was love at first sight. It's an amazing motorcycle, so comfortable, so quick, so nimble, very heavy to handle, but once you get used to it, they're brilliant. I love it. Anyway, then I spotted for sale a trailer. As if the Goldwing wasn't big enough and heavy enough by itself, I decided to put a sodding great trailer on the back of it with a load of camping kit. But that obviously meant putting a towing hitch and a towing ball on the back. That's fine, and there's lots for sale if you live in America. If you don't, they're quite hard to get hold of here. He's trying to creep out, look now. Anyway, they're very hard to get hold of here. But thanks to somebody down south who's a member of the Goldwing Owners Club, he sold me a one for my bike, which I've got to say was a bit rusty, and a bit better, seen better days. But after a bit of rubbing down with a wire brush and painting and everything else, it was fine. So I fitted that. Next problem was the electrics. Online, there's loads of diagrams and information on how to wire in the electrics for a trailer on a Goldwing. Only they all tell you that you're going to have on the back one white plug, two red and one blue. If you've got an American bike, yes. If you've got the EU bike, no. There's only one blue. So I had a problem with that then. I couldn't buy the loom that you can buy a loom from Honda which just plugs in. Doesn't work on that on this bike, so had to invent a way of doing it, and that came with a CAN bus box, which works with non-CAN bus vehicles as well. But basically, this is made for a car. But I wired it in, found the right wires, connected it all, and the trailer lights worked eventually. And there it is. That's the Honda Goldwing GL1800 2010 year model with a lovely trailer on the back of it. So again, we like to do silly things, or I do. I keep getting told I'm silly. Look at my shirt. Look. The warning grumpy old veteran. Anyway, and I am today because I'm 60 today. Anyway, so I decided in February, I think it was, when it was cold and wet and horrible, that it'd be lovely to buy a new tent and fill it all up, the trailer, and take my good lady Diane camping. Seemed a good idea at the time, even though it was only about 3 degrees at night, or freezing, or point, or something like that. Anyway, bought the tent, loaded the trailer. There's a photo of it there, all loaded up. So we decided to go, or I decided to go, to a place near Wrexham called, I can't remember what on earth the name of the place is called now. Let me go zoom into that. James's Caravan Park near Gwersall. Anyway, very nice, very friendly people, very helpful. Loved it there, apart from it being cold. Anyway, we didn't do much apart from sit in the tent. It's a lovely site. I should imagine it's a lot more lovely in the summer. Plenty of space there. As I say, they're very friendly and very helpful. We didn't have gas cylinders for our lights, and they lent us torches and lanterns and all kinds. Very good. The toilets and the facilities there are absolutely stunningly clean and well presented, and it's a lovely place. So if you're needing somewhere to go in Wrexham area camping or caravanning, I can highly recommend James's Caravan Park. And there's the bike after we pulled up, the trailer in the background, fully laden. And I can tell you, with the fully laden trailer, a pillion on the back, all the panniers and the back box loaded up, it's quite a weight. But it went lovely. You would hardly know the trailer's there, to be fair. And there's the trailer with the bike and the tent. 6-man tent, by the way. We don't do anything by halves. Big bike, big trailer, big tent, big arse. There you go. Right, and there's the tent all set up. It's a Coleman tent, Coleman Hex 6, I think it is, or something like that. Very lucky, bought it off, and there's my good lady Diane sat in the tent to show you how much room there is. Quite a lot of room in there. It is a 6-man tent, and there's me freezing my knackers off. Yeah, so it's it was on eBay. No, it wasn't. It was on Amazon, and it's 220 odd pound. But in this instance, they had it on special offer for 160 something. So I bought the thing, and we decided to take it away and test it. As well as testing that, I decided to take my amateur radio with me and have a play with that. So I took that and picture, I think previous picture, which I might, there you go, you can see the antenna, which I've cunningly disguised as a Welsh flag, so nobody knew what I was doing, except they did. I had a camp bed, but my good lady bought one off of Amazon, and it's a lovely camp bed, and it wasn't too expensive. The only trouble is, every time you folded it down, legs popped up again, and it folded itself up. So temporary measures, as you can see in these photos, I had to bungee the legs so that they didn't pop up again, so she didn't end up getting folded up in it in the night. I've got to say that worked really well, and it's a very comfortable bed. And once we let it down again after the weekend, it was fine. It stopped popping itself up all over the place, and it worked absolutely brilliantly. So that's the bed. Say the tent is fantastic. Coleman hexagonal tent. It is so easy. Well, it's not as quick as they make out to put up, but it's not that bad either. Basically, you peg out the bottom bit, put a load of poles up and clip it all up, sling the top cover over and peg it out. It is quite simple. All the poles are marked with colour codes, not like the old bendy poles, you know, they're quite solid poles. So very impressed with the Coleman tent actually. No problems with that at all. I also bought, because we knew it would be gibbering cold, a heater from Amazon, a gas heater. It uses the canister, you know, the aerosol canister things. It's about as much use as tits on fish, to be honest with you. It's very, very good at burning gas, but didn't produce a lot of heat. I've got to say in its defence, though, that it was absolutely almost, well, it was freezing point almost there, and the cylinders were freezing. So, I should imagine the burning, whatever you call it, the matrix on it was probably freezing as well. So that's probably why it was shite. It might be better in not Arctic temperatures. Um, who knows? I'll test it and do another video maybe in the future. There you go. The tent up again. It was very good, very nice tent, very roomy. The door in it was superb. It kind of, it's almost like having a front door. So this is pulling the tent down. There it is up. And the first thing you do is you pull out the poles around the door. The door goes all floppy. Second thing you do then is undo all the guy ropes. Very quick, very simple. There are 8 of them, or is there more than that? There's more than that, I think, there's some for the door as well. And that's the top then just pulls off, folds up. Very, very quick, very simple. The only downside I can imagine to this tent is you've then got the inner of the tent exposed. Now, if you were setting it up and it was piddling down with rain, that means your inner of your tent is getting wet while you're setting it up. And I don't know, I think all tents are probably the same. I don't know. Anyway, so that's the only downside I could see to it. You then remove the poles. The thing drops to the floor. Take the poles off, the remaining few poles. And there's the trailer with everything that went on the bike and in the trailer laid out on the floor by it. A lot of kit. The trailer was completely chock-a-block full, so was the panniers, so was the back box, and we had a bag, a dry bag strapped on top of the rack on the bike as well. So it was quite a lot of stuff. That included food and everything else. I think we had cookers, we had gas, we had the amateur radio, we had chairs, we had tables, we had a useless heater, 2 beds, sleeping bags, which brings me to also, Diane bought a 3-season bag, sleeping bag from Amazon. I would suggest that it's probably barely a 1-season bag, summer bag. It was so thin, I'd have been better off sleeping in a black bin bag, because I took a nice big 4-season one, which Diane ended up using, and I slept in the very thin one with a double one draped over the top of it. I was actually not that cold, to be fair, but by itself that sleeping bag would have been as much use as well, chocolate Viagard, you know, no useless for winter time. So as you can see, there's a fair bit of stuff in the trailer, or going into the trailer. Took spare pegs and what else did we take? Cutlery and food, and even a rug to go on the floor, towels, rope, lights, gas, cookers, kettles, you name it, we took it. Which is amazing considering it's all went on a motorbike. I think the owners of the site were absolutely amazed that we turned up with that. Now in the Goldwing, the panniers and the back box are quite spacey, but quite difficult to get stuff in without it being in some kind of a bag. You can buy proper luggage bags for the Goldwing. I don't think they're that expensive, but I didn't like the look of them anyway. So I went for some bags that I bought from Sports Direct, I think it was, and they were very good. I can't remember the life of me who they were made by, but if I can remember when I'm editing the video together, I'll put it up on the screen. But they're excellent. They're only about, I can't remember, £12 or £13 each, and you can use them as a carry-all. as a backpack, all kinds. They're very versatile and they fit exactly perfectly into the Goldwing panniers and back box. So that was brilliant. And there you can see the bike and the trailer loaded with one pannier open. Yes, and the flag on there, by the way, is the Royal British Legion Riders branch, of which I'm a member. And that was about it. We were ready to go. There's the dry bag on the top and the trailer hitched up. So that so far is the story of my motorcycling and the bike that I've now got, which is a fantastic bike. Very, very impressed with it. I had to do a couple of little things to it, and there is another fault came up yesterday. I took it out for a ride yesterday with the Royal British Legion Riders, and the cruise control is stuck on, won't come off. So I'm going to have to pull the switch apart and probably use some contact cleaner or replace it. But other than that, it's brilliant. Um, it's so comfortable to ride, and you know, what more can I say? And loads of power behind it for the size of the thing. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll shut up now. Until next time, which will probably be another 2 years. Who knows? Bye for now. Tutty byes.